think that one is good for now. So the next thing I want to talk about is Postgres database. Now I want to talk about NoSQL. Please, do you understand that concept? I was talking about SQL, and next thing I want to talk about is NoSQL. So let me just drop and show you guys what NoSQL. Can you see it? So NoSQL databases, we can just read it together. It's an umbrella of non-relational database. So we have relational database and non-relational database. Relational databases are SQL database, are database that you can just run query to and it will respond to you in the traditional way. You understand? It comes with tables and column. Let me show you how a table looks like. SQL table. So this is a sample of how SQL table look like. So this is how a SQL table look like. You know how your Excel file looks like. That's how your SQL table look like. You understand? It has rows and columns. That's how SQL table look like. Nothing big, just normal Excel, but this time it's a database. So it has number and so on and so on. This is how your SQL table look like, just like the Excel that you use at home. You understand? Now, I want to talk about NoSQL. So NoSQL, in the terms of NoSQL databases, you are not talking about the running query like normal queries, select from, update this and that. NoSQL databases are kind of split kind of database. You can see, come and look at this. Let's look at I think I want to drop different various link also for us if you want to read their difference. So you see, you have what we call relational database. You understand? SQL databases. You can see rows and columns. You understand? Analytical part of it, but don't worry, it's majorly relational. This is how it looks like. Non-relational databases are all this kind of database. It has different kind of columns. You see how the columns are arranged, kind of. You see, it uses something like a graph, kind of. You have a document database, you have a key value, and so on, like Redis Cache, and so on and so forth. So now I will drop this link also for you to read up if you want more information about databases, but that is not the stuff for this class. This class is not majorly meant for databases, but nevertheless, it just will give you guys an heads up of what database really represents, quote and unquote. Now, when you are looking at something like Facebook, like Twitter, like Instagram and all those social media platforms, they don't use something called SQL database. They use NoSQL. You understand? That's why you can see that when you are sliding, it can be able to pick out data from you, different kind of videos, different kind of pictures, different kind of things at any time. It is not using these SQL databases like username, password. You see how the SQL databases look like? Your name, John, last name, Sanchez, department. So this is SQL databases. NoSQL databases on the other side is not arranged, kind of. You understand? So that's how it's kind of work. But I can drop videos. I'll try to get videos on the database. Anybody that want to go into database full scale, I can drop some videos I think I have that you can be able to learn about those things also. So now I want to talk about NoSQL databases. And part of the NoSQL databases that we have Postgres. We have Postgres. We have Cosmos DB. We have this in MariaDB and so on and so forth. So you can create those things also in Azure. Now, look at let me start with Postgres. Postgres is widely used. So this is Postgres. So you can see Postgres databases. So you can say, okay, I want to choose Azure Database for Postgres Flexible Server. Don't worry, I'm not going to give you assignment on Postgres databases.
Hello, sir.
Sir, please pick one.
Hello, sir.
Hello,
sir. To be very sure, Postgres the non-relational database? I used to think it's a relational database.
I
Postgres.
you can check it together.
No. I wanted to add to it, please, Mr. Shea. In as much as we are learning Postgres, learning the difference, SQL, and all that. At some point, I was reading about SQL that SQL comes with rows and column and description of what rows and column in order to query. It's just a special query language. You have to call for something and all that. And SQL, I didn't really much about that. But please, can you give like maybe scenarios or examples for in terms of real-time projects? For instance, just demo, not really, just scenarios about when to use Postgres, applicable period when Postgres are needed, when Postgres SQL are needed, when RDS are needed, then in database services.
Okay, so now virtually all applications that you work with, you interact with them on their front end, right? Let me give you,
Yes.
for instance, your school portal. Your school portal, you understand? You interact with the front end, you understand? You put in your details and so on and so forth. That details is received by the backend application. The backend application is the one that retrieve that details, work on that details, and save that details on somewhere called a database. Do you understand? Do you understand that concept?
Yes.
Good. Now, that database where it's putting username, password, first name, last name, what again can I look at? Your height, your age, your year of birth, all these kind of details, they are majorly stored in something called a relational database. I can now say, okay, good. I'm looking for Tunde. I write an SQL query. Select all from students where name is equals to Olatunde. Enter and run execute the query. It is going to bring out all the students that have their first name called Olatunde. Please, do you understand?
Yes.
So that is a relational database, kind of. You understand? I can run normal select query, all those kind of things. Now, for non-SQL database, how those one work? They work like now. You upload videos to YouTube. I'm talking about YouTube Shorts. You upload all those short videos. Let me give an instance, a good instance. Facebook. Okay. Let me now. I'm coming. Let's use Instagram. It's a widely used one, so you can see it. So you can see it. So it's really, so they have different kind of databases it uses. You understand? It uses Postgres majorly for a structured information, like when you have a structured information like username and password, all those things I talked about, all those are the structured one. Now, NoSQL on the other side handles highly distributed activity. What do I call highly distributed activity? Then you are having something like I'm watching a video on let me just look for a topic. Okay, I'm watching a video about cryptocurrency. It doesn't just look at, okay, because this guy is looking at what you look at, okay, I'm watching a video on the cryptocurrency today, tomorrow, next tomorrow. It will set the algorithm. Okay, run this query on cryptocurrency videos. Those videos are not arranged orderly. It goes to where they are saved in different columns and bring them together for me to be able to watch. So I would just suggest generally that kindly just go and read more about when to use relational database. So it depends on the kind of application that you're working with. You understand? If you are working with a application like a school portal, like
Or bank app.
or bank app, all those one uses, they use what is called SQL database. You
Yeah.
understand? But when you are not working with something that is not structured, like videos, tweets, all those kind of things, you understand? It's going to be using something called NoSQL. But there are different ways to interact with those databases also. Now, when it comes to Redis Cache, let me explain what Redis Cache works. Redis Cache is not a database that saves information for a long time. You understand? So what it does is that today, you come to me, you ask me, what is my name? Your name is Tunde. Tomorrow, you come again, what is my name? Tunde. Next tomorrow, instead of me to go and be querying the database for this guy's name when they come next time, I'll just save the database, the name of this person in my front. Saving it in my front means that it's Redis Cache. It is keeping that information or data for you because it knows that every now and then you'll be coming to ask for that thing. So it keeps that thing temporarily for you because it knows that definitely someone is going to come and ask for this thing every now and then. Instead of me to go and be querying the database every now and then, I will just provide information for you as soon as possible. That's what Redis Cache really does. Do you understand? Good. Okay. Gbenga, you can shoot.
Yes, I just wanted to add some things because probably because I've worked with as a backend engineer before,
Okay.
and my little understanding of this database. So quickly to just point to touch one of these points you just raised for the Redis Cache. A practical example for applying Redis Cache is OTP. You understand? Instead of you sending the OTP now to the database, you just send it to the Redis Cache. It will hold it for that short term that you want to use it. And after that, it just discards it. Instead of you applying it to a database and configuring and trying to alter some settings in the database. So meanwhile, for to know when to apply the kind of database to use, it's mostly when the back end team meets and based on the kind of project. But what I know is that most fintechs, they use SQL, relational database, because it has to be structured because sometimes it involves money and all that.
Yes.
And there are some other things.
Just
So
like
there are some other things used.
money, date, time, time of payment, amount of payment, and all that, rows and columns.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. So basically, but if it's not mostly fintechs, but if it's not a fintech and maybe it's not really, you understand, maybe that accountability is not really needed when it comes to money, because money is different from, just like Mr. Sheyi said now, Instagram and all that, it's different from money. You understand? So it just depends on the importance you apply to it. So that's when the decision will now be made by the back end team. But most times, basically, in the general rule, fintech will go with relational database, while the other thing, social media and the rest, it depends on the back end team. Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for allowing me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. So now let's go back to Azure. Now on Azure, now to create a Postgres database, it's just like you creating an SQL database also. So you just follow the same processes. You understand? Putting your resource group, follow the same process that we followed for SQL database, and at the end of it, nothing much about it. You understand? The credentials also can select Postgres authentication, enter or this thing. This one is dependent based on what I explained initially when explaining SQL database. So this is it. The next thing again you want to look at is networking. You can make it public or private accessible depending on what you want to use it for. The security, you can say, okay, managed key or customer managed key, but in it, I would prefer using service managed key. I don't, and that's my own thoughts around it. And your tags also, and next thing you just review and create. So that's for Postgres database. The next one again is talking about Cosmos DB. So this is Cosmos DB also. It's a kind of a database also. To create Cosmos DB, you just follow the same, almost the same parameter. I'm creating Cosmos DB for NoSQL, or I'm creating a Cosmos DB for MongoDB compatibility. Remember, when I talked about depending on the kind of application you want to use, now determining the kind of databases you'll be using for it. So the kind of application you want to create, depending on the kind of application you want to create, it now determines the kind of database that you apply to it. So now recommended ones, so different kind of API, Cosmos DB for Postgres, Cosmos DB for as a table, Cosmos for Apache Gremlin, and Apache Cassandra. So that's for Cosmos DB. If you want to create one, just choose one you want to create, and follow the same processes that you need to create the database. Do you understand? So nothing much about it. So you see that's almost the same parameters to create the database. Now I want to talk about MariaDB again. So MariaDB is just like Cosmos DB. Also, MariaDB servers. So hold on while it loads. Okay, so for MariaDB, you can create your MariaDB also using the same parameters. Sorry, we no longer support creating a new Azure database for MariaDB instance from the Azure portal. Okay, so that's for, so you use Azure CLI to create MariaDB. I really don't know why. I don't know the reason why it's set that way. So that's about if your application is using MariaDB, kind of. Is there any database again I'm missing? So actually, those are the ones I can remember offhand. I think I've talked about virtually a good number of the databases that we have on Azure. So I've talked about SQL databases and NoSQL databases. I've talked about Postgres, talked about SQL servers, MongoDB, Cosmos DB, MariaDB. So we have different kind of databases actually. So I don't want to just bore myself on it. So depending on the database you want to create, please. So anybody with any question on databases?